The academy instructor's verdict cut deeper than any blade. You are unfit to be a ninja. For the third time, Koki had failed. His classmates didn't bother to hide their laughter. One whispered loud enough for him to hear. What did you expect from gutter trash?
If I can't even pass the exam, what am I even still doing in this village?
As punishment, he was ordered to clean the most rundown smithy in the village for a month.
Sweeping floors while others train. Maybe this is where I belong.
Days blurred into nights. His hands cracked and bled, but no one cared. On the 7th night, thunder shook the walls. Rain hammered the roof like 1,000 kunai.
Is this my life now? Just waiting for the next day to be worse than the last?
Then, a crash at the door. Not the wind. A body slumping against the wood. Koki threw open the door. An old man pitched forward, his withered hand clamping onto Koki's tunic.
You inherit the divine blacksmith's curse and gift. Forgive me, boy.
He pressed a searing iron-marked talisman against Koki's chest. Energy flared, binding them. The hermit's arm fell limp. He was dead. The talisman now glowed, etched into Koki's skin.
What did he do to me? My hands are itching to hold a hammer.
His body moved before his mind. A kunai blank glowed white-hot, and he struck it with impossible precision. The finished kunai lay on the anvil, humming. Taro, the apprentice, reached for it, curious. As his fingers touched the blade, chakra burst from his core, racing up his arm like blue lightning. Taro gasped as the chakra steadied into perfect control, a skill he'd never managed before.
This was me. That kunai just rewired his chakra. What have I become?
2 days later, Taro sliced through training posts while other students gaped. They demanded to know where his skill came from.
Just a lucky find. A cheap kunai. But I have to keep my source a secret.
A desperate Jenin cornered Koki behind the smithy that night. Please, I can't afford to fail again. He pressed his last coins.
I swore to stay hidden, but if I turn away, I am no better than the ones who laughed at me.
A week later, that same Jenin was promoted after a flawless mission. The shuriken Koki forged never missed its mark. Word spread through the underground. Every night, more hardened faces appeared at his door, eyes full of desperate hope. In the seedy taverns, they called him the Forgotten Forgemaster, a ghost who reshaped chakra with a hammer blow. Mizuki, a rank S jonin, frowned at the intelligence report. Too many low ranks were climbing, all wielding unusual weapons.
Rank spikes this consistent. Aren't coincidence. Someone is tampering with chakra at a forge, and I am going to find them.
Her investigation narrowed to one lead. A rundown smithy on the edge of the slums. Mizuki pinned a low-rank informant against a tavern wall. I know you carried his weapons. Where is the Forgemaster? The man shook his head, terrified. She let him drop, but not before confiscating a shuriken from his pouch.
This metal, it channels chakra like living tissue. No ordinary smith could forge this.
She ordered her network to comb the slums. Any smith capable of such work would leave traces. Word reached Koki through a nervous customer. A jonin was asking too many questions. His hands trembled as he worked.
If I stop now, no one gets hurt. But those low-rank shinobi, they'll be crushed without a chance.
A young genin with a broken arm stumbled in, begging for a blade to pass his final test. Koki couldn't refuse. Meanwhile, one of Mizuki's agents reported a rundown smithy on the edge of the village, active only at night.
The Forgotten Forgemaster hiding in plain sight. I'll pay him a visit tonight.
In the smithy, the talisman on Koki's chest burned. He didn't know why, but a storm was coming.
That chakra pressure is suffocating. A jonin-level shinobi. If I stay, I'm finished.
He slipped out the side door into the rain, but a shadow moved. Mizuki blocked the narrow alley, her katana already drawn.
The Forgotten Forgemaster, I presume. Your weapons have been causing quite a stir in the lower ranks.
You've got the wrong smith. I just sweep floors.
She grabbed his tunic collar, yanking it aside. The talisman blazed, undeniable proof.
And you glow like a forge fire. I am not here to arrest you. Yet, forge me a katana and I'll forget this.
She knows. If I refuse, she'll sell me out. But if I comply, I become her personal smith. Fine. But this is a one-time deal. Then you leave me alone.
Agreed. But if it fails to impress, I'll deliver you to the council myself.
Koki took a deep breath and walked back into the smithy. The talisman blazed, and he began his work. For hours, Koki pounded white-hot steel. Sweat dripped, but the talisman guided each strike with unnatural precision.
It's like the hammer knows where to fall. I'm just the vessel.
As dawn broke, he quenched the blade. Steam exploded, and the katana hummed on the anvil, alive with chakra.
Finally. Let's see if you are worth the hype.
The moment she gripped it, her chakra tripled. Blue energy erupted, shattering crates and shaking the walls.
Impossible. This power could rival the Kage's guards. What did he pour into this blade?
Far above, in the Hokage's tower, a surveillance crystal flared. The ancient forge signature had been activated.
After 60 years, the divine blacksmith's power resurfaces. Summon Goro immediately.
The Forge Guild captain knelt before the Hokage, his scarred face impassive.
Find the smith who carries the ancient talisman. Bring him to me, alive. Do not fail.
A searing pain ripped through Koki's chest. The talisman screamed a warning. The Hokage's forces were closing in.
That katana's surge. They traced it here. If I stay, I am as good as dead.
He snatched his satchel and crept to the rear alley, only to find the village gates swarming with armored shinobi. A shadow dropped beside him. Mizuki, her new katana, sheathed, expression grim.
The guild is hunting you because of my blade. I am responsible. I'll get you out.
Why help me? You got your katana. We're even.
Because the Hokage's Forge Guild doesn't collect smiths for peaceful reasons. I won't let them turn you into a slave.
Before Koki could respond, the clatter of armor surrounded the smithy. Heavy boots and harsh voices closed every exit. Goro's voice boomed from the street. By order of the Hokage, surrender the divine blacksmith.
They have every exit covered. There's no escape.
The roof shattered. 4 guild members dropped in, chakra blades extended. Mizuki pushed Koki behind her.
Stay close. This blade you forged. Let's see if it can cut through their armor.
She swung in a wide arc, and a torrent of compressed chakra carved through the first 2 attackers. But Goro broke through the dust, his massive hand reaching for Koki's collar. Koki grabbed a spare kunai from his satchel and hurled it at Goro's exposed side. The blade sank into his armor, and his chakra network scrambled. Goro stumbled, roaring in confusion. Mizuki drove Goro back with rapid slashes. Koki threw another kunai, forcing the others to retreat. For a moment, the smithy fell silent. 2 guild members lay unconscious, and Goro clutched his side, gasping. But from outside, more heavy footfalls echoed. Reinforcements were arriving. Mizuki's arm trembled, and Koki's chest burned with exhaustion.
Get ready. We'll carve a path through them.
Before they could move, the air thickened. The Hokage stepped through the shattered wall, his shadow consuming the torchlight.
The talisman's bearer, so young. Serve me willingly, and you'll be honored above all smiths. Refuse, and you'll forge in chains.
Forgive me, boy. The hermit's last words burn in my chest. He wasn't asking forgiveness from me. He was warning me.
Don't listen. He'll drain your power and lock you in his tower forge, like the others.
Silence, Jonin. You wield his blade, but you know nothing. I've hunted this power for 60 years, since the last fool escaped me.
The hermit. He was the last divine blacksmith. You chased him until he crawled to me to die.
Correct. And you'll share his fate, unless you agree. This is your final chance.
I'd rather die swinging this hammer than forge one more blade for you.
Then you will be dragged to my vault. Goro, take him. We have wasted enough time.
The air crackled with killing intent. The Hokage had given his order, and there would be no mercy. The Hokage's hands formed a dark seal. A ghostly projection filled the smithy. The hermit, manacled to a forge, hammering without rest, decades of forced labor. Each strike echoing the same despair. The memories seared into Koki's mind.
This was his gift, a curse to never stop forging until death. Forgive me. He was begging my forgiveness for this.
Koki roared in agony. The talisman detonated a blinding flash, shattering the projection and staggering the Hokage.
Now, the floor panel. Move.
She yanked Koki into a narrow tunnel beneath the forge. Earth crumbled as they crawled through the darkness. They burst from the tunnel into a moonlit forest. Mizuki gasped for air, but Koki stood frozen, fists clenched.
We can't stay here. The guild will track the chakra signature of that talisman.
I know, but I am not running anymore. I'll drag every weapon in that vault out into the open and make the village see.
The hunt for the divine blacksmith had failed, and Koki had just learned the truth he needed to fight back. They found shelter in a shallow cave. Mizuki collapsed against the damp stone, her breathing ragged. Koki knelt, the talisman pulsing.
Show me the truth you couldn't speak, old man. I need to know what you left behind.
A ghostly image of the hermit materialized, not the dying wreck, but a man still burning with defiance.
The talisman is a key to every blade I forged in chains. Each one holds a fragment of my soul. I poured my hatred for the Hokage into every strike. Use them. They will fight for you.
So the vault weapons aren't cursed. They're waiting for someone to point them at the Hokage.
Mizuki stirred, gripping her katana. Koki turned to her, his voice steadier than it had been in weeks.
That vault is an arsenal. If I can reach it, the talisman will turn every weapon against the Hokage.
Storming his tower with an army of chained blades. You are insane. I am in.
The talisman's light faded, plunging them into darkness. But for the first time, Koki had a weapon bigger than any hammer.
The vault is deep beneath the tower. 3 seal-locked doors. We'll need to shatter them before reinforcements swarm.
Koki hammered a glowing crystal into a kunai, the talisman's light pulsing with each strike.
A transmission seal. When I drive this into the vault floor, every crystal screen in the village will show the hermit's torment.
He then poured his resolve into a personal tanto, a blade forged for one purpose, to cut down a Hokage. A low-rank shinobi stumbled into the clearing, face pale. The guild is dragging everyone who traded with you to the square.
They're being punished because of our fight. We can't wait any longer.
Tonight, we storm the tower and drag every last chained weapon into the light.
They smeared ash on their faces and wrapped their blades in dark cloth. No more hiding. Under a moonless sky, they crept through the forest toward the tower. The Hokage's reign had one night left.
I chased you as a tool, but tonight I am following the smith who dared refuse a Hokage. My katana is yours.
Koki placed a hand on the blade. The talisman's fire surged through his veins, and he knew what he had to forge. He struck the steel with all his guilt, his rage, his hope. Each hammer blow carved his resolve into the tanto. When the blade cooled, it hummed with a heartbeat. His own chakra fused to the metal.
This isn't a tool, it's a promise to every shinobi who was told they didn't deserve a chance.
They wrapped themselves in dark cloaks, their faces smeared with ash. Thunder rolled as they left the cave behind. The tower's outer wall loomed slick with rain. Mizuki went first, her chakra-enhanced grip carving handholds into the stone. Koki climbed after her, the talisman searing his chest with every gust of wind, as if it knew what waited inside. They reached a narrow ledge beneath a window. Lightning split the sky, illuminating their shadowed faces.
On your signal, Forger Master, let's break his vault wide open.
They dropped through the window into a torchlit corridor. A full squad of Forge Guild members blocked the way, weapons drawn.
The divine blacksmith himself. Capture him alive. The Hokage will reward us all.
No forge, no anvil. I'll shape this metal with raw chakra.
He slammed the blank against the stone wall, the talisman's heat warping it into a crude dagger in seconds.
Take it. This blade carries the hermit's truth.
The guard caught it, and blue chakra erupted up his arm. His eyes went wide, then snapped toward his captain with sudden fury. "What have they done to us?" The guard shouted, turning his blade on his own comrades.
Keep moving. I'll cut a path.
Koki tossed another makeshift weapon, and another guild member turned. The corridor became a storm of chakra and clashing steel. They burst through a final door and halted before the massive vault, sealed with 3 glowing chakra locks. The talisman's light flared, reaching for the chains within. Koki pressed the talisman against the central lock. The chakra seals shattered in a cascade of blue sparks, and the vault door groaned open. Racks of weapons stretched into darkness. Katanas, kunai, spears, each humming with trapped chakra.
I can feel him. Decades of hammer blows soaked into every edge, but there's a darker will binding them.
Wait. The chakra patterns, they're all converging toward the floor. This isn't just a vault, it's a binding seal.
Impressive. Most smiths don't notice the leash until it's around their throat. Every weapon in this room is bound to my chakra. If anyone other than me wields them, they become my puppets. You brought me the key to my own arsenal.
The hermit's plan. Every weapon a slave. He meant for me to break the seal, not just open the door.
Then we destroy the seal. Cut the leash right here.
You'll find that difficult while I am still breathing. And I have waited 60 years. I will not be denied.
Koki drew his tanto, the talisman blazing. He had come to turn the vault against the Hokage. Now he would have to shatter it instead. The Hokage thrust his hand forward, and chakra coalesced into a massive ethereal blade, a guillotine of pure domination.
60 years of patience ends now. I will not be denied by a child with a hammer.
Mizuki leaped in front of Koki, her katana meeting the blow. The impact shattered the floor beneath her, and she was hurled backward, coughing blood.
I can't take another hit like that, but I have to buy him time.
Koki dropped to his knees and slammed the talisman against the vault floor. Golden cracks shot through the binding seal.
This seal is tied to his chakra. If I burn my own life force through the talisman, the backlash will sever his hold.
The vault weapons shivered, one by one. They began to rise from their racks, chakra unshackling.
Impossible. You are killing yourself to break my seal.
He lunged at Koki, but Mizuki threw herself in his path, one last time, her katana carving a gash across his arm. Mizuki collapsed, her chakra spent. The talisman blazed white-hot, and Koki felt the curse tearing, but the Hokage was far from finished. A final pulse erupted from the talisman. The binding seal shattered, and every weapon in the vault blazed with liberated chakra. Koki drove the broadcast kunai into the vault floor. The crystal embedded in its hilt shone, and the seal activated. Across the village, every crystal screen flared to life. The hermit's torment, the Hokage's orders, 60 years of lies, laid bare. Shinobi and civilians alike watched in horror as the hermit's prison forge filled the sky.
You insolent child. I'll erase you and every trace of this rebellion.
He lunged, a spike of black chakra aimed at Koki's heart. The boy didn't flinch, but Mizuki, bleeding, threw herself forward.
I won't let him fall here. Not after everything.
Her katana caught the blow, and the recoil sent cracks through the tower walls. But she held him there, gasping.
You are dead, Jonin. You and your precious smith.
But the village had seen the truth, and the tower shook with the roar of 100 freed weapons. Koki raised his hand, and the liberated weapons answered. Dozens of blades, spears, and kunai hurtled toward the Hokage. each strike siphoning his chakra.
Mere trinkets. I have forged armies.
But each weapon carried a fragment of the hermit's will. The talisman flared, dragging the Hokage's stolen power back out of him.
60 years of control, unraveling. This cannot be how it ends.
Koki advanced through the hail of steel, his tanto glowing with condensed chakra. The final piece the hermit had meant for him to forge.
You turned a sacred craft into chains, but every chain can be broken by the right hammer.
He thrust the tanto forward. It pierced the Hokage's chest plate and shattered his core. A silent explosion of light, and the dark chakra vanished. The Hokage crumpled, his power gone. He was just an old man in a broken hat. Village shinobi stormed the vault, seizing the former Hokage in chakra-binding chains. Koki took a staggering step back, the talisman dimming to a faint pulse. He stared at his blistered hands, a sweeper, an outcast, now the one who had shattered a tyrant's reign. Healers streamed into the vault, their palms glowing green over Mizuki's crumpled form. Koki didn't move from her side. Outside, the first light of dawn revealed a crowd massing at the tower base. They roared when Koki staggered into view. A village elder pushed through the crowd and knelt, offering Koki the official seal of the headsmith.
I won't take a seat built on chains. The hermit wore manacles in this tower. I'll never wear his title. Let every weapon in that vault be melted to scrap. No one should ever forge under a lash again.
The elder looked at the broken chains, then bowed deeper. It shall be done. The vault will be unmade. On a stretcher nearby, Mizuki's eyes flickered open. Bandaged and pale, she still managed a faint, proud smile.
You kept your promise. Every shinobi deserves a chance. You proved it with your hammer.
Koki climbed onto a half-ruined wall and looked out over the village. No longer a forgotten outcast, but free. Only the talisman on his chest remained, pulsing softly, a promise that the hermit's true legacy had only just begun. Days later, Koki hung a fresh wooden sign above the smithy door. Open forge, all ranks welcome.
The hermit's true gift wasn't power. It was the chance to give others what I never had.
Mizuki walked through the door, her wounds healed, her new katana sheathed at her hip.
I am your first customer. The old blade needs a sister. Something lighter for the next generation.
They talked quietly as the forge crackled. Not about conspiracies, but about the small future. A rebuilt village, a new academy. A small shadow appeared at the door. A boy, no older than Koki had been, clutching a worn coin.
What do you need, kid?
The boy stammered about failing his exam, needing a simple kunai. Koki's amber eyes softened.
Come back tomorrow. You'll have the sharpest kunai in the village, and it won't cost a thing.
Koki placed a glowing blank on the anvil. The talisman pulsed gently as he struck the first blow, forging not just a weapon, but a promise. At dawn, Koki climbed the mountain alone, the talisman's glow his only guide through the mist.
I didn't understand your words that night, old man, but now I do.
He placed a second kunai beside the first, a matching pair, one born of accident, the other of purpose.
You gave me a curse and a gift. I'll make sure everyone remembers the gift.
The talisman on his chest blazed, and the morning mist began to shimmer. A faint image of the hermit materialized, no longer broken, just a tired, peaceful smile.
You have freed us both, boy. Forge on.
Koki bowed his head, and when he looked up, the spirit had faded into the golden sunrise. He stood and looked down at the village below, a place that once rejected him, now waiting for his hammer. With the talisman, a steady pulse on his chest, he walked down the mountain, ready. Back at the smithy, the forge fire roared to life. Koki rolled up his sleeves, the talisman steady on his chest. He chose a fresh blank. Each hammer strike felt lighter than the last. The talisman pulsed gently, not with warning, but like a second heartbeat. When the blade quenched, it gleamed on the anvil, trailing chakra mist. As Koki lifted the weapon, the talisman's light traced runes along the steel. 3 characters burned into the metal. Divine Blacksmith, a truth finally spoken. Not a title claimed. He set the blade aside. The forge had become more than a workshop. Outside, the village hummed with new life. Shinobi trained openly. Children played. Koki looked at his hands, no longer blistered from sweeping, but calloused from building something that mattered. The talisman glowed softly. The fire crackled on. A quiet beginning that would never end.